Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. We are going over the registration module for Yoga for Love advanced training programs, and we're going to be touching on the student log for getting started. So I just want everyone just to pop in real quick, unmute, and just say your name and just say hi, and then we're going to go ahead and get started.
I'm Sherry.
Hi, I'm Desiree.
Catherine. Hi, I'm Tamara.
Hi, I'm Tatiana.
And Tatiana is also one of our directors with the program, so you'll be hearing from Tatiana. She might be giving some input as we go through the registration and the Getting Started module, but you will definitely be hearing from her on our chats, and you'll meet her at our retreats with our Yoga for Love, our Inner Goddess retreats in Texas, and for our Hawaii retreats as well. Catherine is an advanced student. She's moving into her internship and her student teaching after Module 3. You're able to move into your internship and student teaching. And so she's moving into that space, and she'll be sharing a little bit of her experience from a student's perspective as we go through. So we're just going to take about 15 minutes today to kind of wrap this up and just kind of bundle up the information. If we leave some questions unanswered, I'm going to leave the opportunity for Desiree to pose some questions at the end that she has immediately kind of went through this module and is very fresh on her brain. So she's going to present with you maybe a few FAQs at the end as we wrap up. Sound good? Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. So can you see that? All right, perfect. So this is your registration. It is the checklist on the website. And as you register, you'll be getting an email. It's going to have this exact same information with it, with a link to this information on your Google Drive. And on your Google Drive, you're going to have a shared folder. And in that shared folder, you're going to see the registration link. That's going to be just a link to the actual, let me show you here. Right here. So you're going to see this exact same information. You'll have it on your drive if you want to read it there and save it. But we're going to ask you to go through this information on the website, yogaforlove.com. The URL here is registration checklist. And it's going to be the first thing that you do. Once you register, you're going to log in at the top right of the website. You're going to pay for your course. Create your login, and it's going to drop you right into this registration module. Go through, read the letter here, and you're going to go through each of these steps. And as you go through the steps and complete these steps, then once you get down to the bottom, it's going to say complete lesson, and you're going to complete that lesson. And as you do, you're going to be able to move right into your Getting Started module. So with that being said, the next module is Getting Started. So how you get here, let's say you've logged back out, completed all your stuff, you're going to email myself or Tatiana or any of our directors that you've completed your module, and we're going to go in and grade your module. And you're going to see a small progress. Now I've created a new account here for purposes of training. And so I have just now purchased my course. I went into my shopping cart. I clicked on the 200 hour and it dropped me right into my courses. So now this is, I've paid for it. It's in my account. It's on my yogaforlove.com account. And you're going to see a progress bar. You're going to click View Results. And that's going to show you where you are in the course. So right now, as you finish, you're required to get an 80% to pass this course. I have a 0 because I haven't completed anything yet. So I'm going to click on the first assignment. Oh, that's on the free week. Hang on. So, okay, well, it works the same way with the Getting Started. I logged into the wrong week. But so you're going to click on your module, and then you're going to go through each module, do these lessons, listen to the audios, listen to the lessons. If there's a quiz, it just means that you completed it. So you're going to view the quiz, and then you can move on to the next section. And the whole entire course works the same way. You're going to go through it, move through the module, click that you've completed it, and then it's going to give you a hard stop at the end of every module. You have to email your director at that point, and when you email us, we're going to know that we need to go in and grade your work and make sure that you've completed this. Now I'm going to move over to how we grade our work. So you're going to be have a shared folder on Drive, and that's part of your registration is going through and setting those things up. You're going to be added into our Hangouts chat, so you're going to have plenty of space where you can ask questions, and you can post questions in there to some of the other ladies that are in the training. Some people might have some tips or some tricks for you there. And then you're also going to be added to our class on Google Classroom. Now, I've recently implemented that because it's super uber important for you to see the things that I have posted in our chats. And sometimes y'all get chatty, which I love that you're chatting a lot with each other, but sometimes you miss what I've posted. So in order for you not to miss what I've posted, I've created assignments on Google Classroom. And you're gonna log into the Google Classroom using the classroom code. And on the, I put the link right here on this registration module document here. So you've got the classroom code, right here. Oh, that's the questionnaire. Okay. So anyway, you're going to have the link emailed to you, and I'll add it onto here. I guess I didn't add it on here yet. But so you'll see the link to our classroom, our current class, where you can go in and you're going to see the things that are actually due that week. The thing that we mainly want to go over today is the log, and we're going to take the next 10 minutes to go over the log. So you have a fast track. This is the fast track log, the 200 hour. And then you have a slow and steady track. This is the slow and steady log, 200 hour. The only difference between these two tracks is the due dates. So I have the Getting Started tab open. Can y'all see that at the bottom, that it's clicked on the Getting Started tab? Okay, so what that means is this is just your very first module that you're going to complete. It's kind of like your pre-assignments or your pre-homework. We call it homework with a capital O-M. So that's your homework. And so as you look on here, you're going to see on the module tab, it's going to have your start date. So on this slow and steady log here, this is my sample log. I've created a start date of 1/1/2018, and it has a 2 at the end of your start date, meaning you're on the slow and steady track. So that correlates to all these due dates. And how that breaks down is it means that, okay, you're going to meet with me or Tatiana. You're going to start your first lesson. You're going to do lesson 2 by February 6th, lesson 3 by February 18th. Now let's look at the fast track. Same exact thing. On the module tab, it has the start date of 1/1/2018. And you can see here now the due dates are a little quicker. So here we've got due date, lesson 2 is due on the 9th instead of February because you're moving faster. So if you feel like that would stress you out, we do not want you to be stressed out in this program. This is yoga, right? So we want to make sure that you're on this program at a pace that's comfortable for you. And so we're going to look at the slow and steady log, and Catherine is going to share her screen and go a little over these, looking over the getting started. So right now I have all zeros in here, and when you get your log shared with you, you're going to receive this on your Gmail, and you're going to open it, and you're going to see the Getting Started tab. And as you complete these, you're going to put the dates that you finish these things, and a 1, that means it's finished. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and then I'll let Catherine go ahead and share her log, and she can show you what it looks like when it's done.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Working.
So this is the front template, and this is where everything populates through. So as you finish, you can see how there's numbers going across the bars, and that's each module as it's getting completed. And then she's going to go to that Getting Started tab and show you the dates that she's put in there. So she did all of those last year. She put a 1 in there, and so that means she's done with that whole entire module. And so if you want to click on the module tab, Catherine, and show them what that looks like. So once you finish with your Getting Started material and you go through the lessons on the website and you get that hard stop where it says you cannot move forward unless your log is graded, that means you need to reach out to your director and say, hey, go in and grade my log. We grade it once or twice a week, but if you're moving through faster and we haven't seen that you needed it graded, make sure you let us know. And then we're going to be able to go ahead and let you move into module 2. So if you're looking here on Catherine's log, you can see the lessons here are correlating with the dates that she completed those lessons. So the due date on her lesson 1 was July 20th, and she completed it on July 20th, and she put a 1. So she completed her second lesson a little early. She put 7/24. It was actually due on 8/1. That's just there as a guideline to keep you tracking properly, and she put a 1. So as she completed all those through her modules, then she puts 1s in the dates, and then that tallies everything up at the bottom. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay, thumbs up. Okay, Catherine, is there anything you want to share here as you're moving through here to make it easier, or any tips that you have?
I just kind of followed my own way. I did some of the assignments like later on, like assignment 7 and 8 and stuff like that. I felt like I kind of did some of them first, and then like because I kind of do them in an order, so I find my own little path. And like same with module 2. Sometimes it's like you don't need to necessarily do one assignment. If you find one easier than the other, go ahead and do it. You know, it's kind of my advice.
Yeah, you can skip around as long as you complete everything and mark it off on the website. And I'll show you where to find that. Do you have anything else you want to share on your screen there?
No.
Okay, go ahead and stop share then if you don't mind. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And there we go. Okay, so can you see that? Yes? I can't see y'all, so let me.
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay, there we go, thank you.
Yes.
I had it minimized because it was like the pictures were blocking where I was trying to make my mouse go. Okay, so the registration modules here. Now, if you want just to kind of click through and look at some of the modules and just instead of going to your tab like I had mentioned to you where you click here and then you hit the view results, this is going to keep you on target, making sure you're doing everything in order. Okay, so I always want you to log in and hit view results because that way you do everything in order. But if you wanted to jump around a little bit, you could always go to the advanced training tab and click on trainee dashboard. And it's going to show you all the different modules here. So you could just jump right into downloading the manual, for instance. So you don't have to do that in order. I'd like you to go ahead and download that right away. And my book is coming out very soon, so you won't have so many pages to print. Yay! But it's there on PDF for you, so you have the original copy, original version. And so that's there for you to save. Of course, you're not going to be sharing that with anybody. It's for your own personal use. But I want you to have a printed copy so you can take notes on it and teach from it. And that's one of your getting started assignments is to print that off and show a picture of it and show your binder and how you got everything all set up. So that way you can kind of share your excitement with the group. So, and then you can kind of scroll through here and you can jump right around. Like if I wanted to go right to the reading page, I'm gonna jump right into the reading. And here we go. I can look here and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna look at the reading. What is required there? What's here? And then I can complete this lesson.
Can I mention how I set up the binder?
Yeah. Let me stop sharing and you can show that.
I just want to show what I did. Just because I did print down the binder and then I set it up, an entire, I don't know if you can see it. I set up in this entire binder, I put it all in here, but then I put tabs in front of all the pages. So as I went through, I took the chapters out and then tabbed it out like that. I don't know if you can see
your manual in your binder?
Yeah.
I was wondering why it's so thick.
A binder training book.
Oh, brilliant.
I like labeled them module 1, module 2, module 3. And then I took the chapters from the binders that she was teaching from, and I put them in there with my modules. And it all fits because it's a huge binder. So.
Yeah, get the thick binder because that's a lot of paper. But it's going to cost you like $50, $70 if you print it at the office supply, or at least the thing you have to print it at home. Yeah. But like I said, I do not want you teaching virtually from a PDF. You cannot. There is something said about writing notes and taking notes and reading things on paper. Not to mention that who wants to be on a device when you're on your mat or when you're teaching, right? The whole point is to take these trainings, practice it. And if you're going to be writing your meditation logs and things like that and your daily sadhana logs, you can write those on paper and then you can upload those to your log later. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I want to show you the other tabs, and then we'll ask Desiree a few questions. We might go a couple minutes over. Does anyone have to jump off right now? You're good? Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So let me go ahead and, yes.
Hi, I have to, hi guys. I'm substitute teaching at my kids' school because I'm a fluent Spanish speaker. And I have my next class coming in, so
Okay.
I'm gonna have to run, but it was very nice to meet you guys, and I love questions. It's one of my favorite things to do is help people on their journey. I love to help people learn to experience yoga and teach yoga. So please feel free to reach out to me by text or by email. I am here for you guys. This is my passion in life. Been at it for almost 20 years. So please reach out to me with anything. Love you, Lisa.
Yes.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hangout, so you can always private message Tatiana on Hangouts.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tati.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen and show you just the other review of the tabs that we're going through. So let's look at the next tab. So the next tab is the module tab. And Catherine showed you how the module tab works. You listen to the audio lesson, you do the assignments on the syllabus, and then you mark it completed. The reading log tab has a color coding. A lot of these books are available for free. Don't get freaked out if you don't have the books. There's people in our training program that will lend you books. We have a lending library at the studio. Plus, a lot of these things are available on half-price books at Google Play for free, on YouTube, read to you for free. So I do want you to own a lot of these books because some of them are reference books, and those are the resource reading. But the other books, as you read them, you don't have to own them. You can borrow them. You can check them out from the library. So as you complete them, you're going to see a key here. 25%, you're going to put a 1. 50%, you're going to put a 2. 75% put a 3. And 100% put the date. I want you tracking properly. So if you get to module 2 and these still all have zeros or blanks or 1s, I'm going to say, before you move on to module 3, you need to get to do some reading, so we don't want you to have a ton of books left by the time you get to module 6. So you can do them in any order. There's also recommended reading here. I just recommend all these books so highly, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with what's required, so that's why they're recommended, and some recommended DVDs. Any questions on that? Okay, so the next tab is practice log. Practice log shows here in color coding the approved practices. Let me really emphasize the word approved. If you're doing yoga on YouTube with Mr. Asana, that's not going to be approved. I don't know Mr. Asana. I don't know what Mr. Asana teaches. I certainly don't know what his teaching style is or his credentials. So that is not counted toward your program. Same thing if you go to a random studio. I encourage you to practice and go to take classes with different teachers, other studios. And when you do, please send me a observation report. But that's not going to count towards your Yoga for Love hours because I did not teach you. I did not oversee that teacher. I don't have any affiliation with that teaching style. So it's not counting towards your hours. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that being said, I do want you to have that experience, but to gain hours in the program, it has to be through a reliable source that I can accredit toward our program. And so all these things are marked on here on different ways that you can access my teachings. You can access, you can go to class with Tatiana. You could take classes with any of our graduates that have been approved as a sister studio. And tons and tons of stuff online. I also stream classes live, and anytime I do expect you to try to clear your schedule to get on those live streams because they're very rare. Sometimes they're from beautiful remote locations, and I want you to join me so bad on those things. Of course, I realize you may not be able to always do that. So those are live streaming. I have the classes on our website, as well as audible.com and hitplayyoga.com, which are third-party paid services. You can always access there. There's tons of other teachers that you can take classes from there and just kind of do observation reports and try different teaching styles on there. The Google Drive, you have access to classes on there. So if there's any place where you don't have a lot of service and you want to download some classes, just message myself or your director, and we can send you some classes on Drive where you can actually save it to your device and do those as you're out and about. Vimeo channel, our Yoga for Love Advanced Trainings YouTube channel. And I've been doing some live streams on there, so make sure you subscribe so that way you'll get notified when we have live streams. It'll also be on our chat, I'll let you know. You can take demo time, student teaching time, assisting, and practice time as you move into your internship. And then also you can log hours where you're at home after Module 3 developing your own Yoga for Love style classes. So there's a list here on how to log that. Basically, you just list the name of the class that you took, the location and where it was done, the date that you did it, the hours, and what I'm really looking for here, and Tatiana and I will be reading this every week when you turn in your log, is your notes. So if you have a bunch of blanks here, we're getting no feedback. We don't know, you can't turn in your log and have blanks here. You have to put your feedback here, and that's super, super important because that's how we comment. And then you're gonna right click, you're gonna insert a comment, you're gonna tag me. So you're gonna tag me in the comments there, hey, da 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 da, and you're gonna comment, okay? So if you wanna say, I wasn't sure how to do this pose, I'm gonna see this comment, but only if you tag me. I will not see it if it's just randomly floating out there in cyberspace on your log. I will only see it if you tag me because then it shows up in my Gmail as a notification.
Have you been able to see my comments? Just wondering.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. You want to share? Stop sharing. You can see how it works.
Yeah. I've never done it that way. So I didn't know.
How do you do it?
I just send the whole thing to you.
Oh, the whole log?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can also see your comments at the bottom of the log. It's going to have a number 1 on the tab that you made a comment on, or number 2 or 3.
Okay. Cool. Do you want me to screen share mine or? Yeah. Okay. I get it now. So should I start doing it like that then?
Yeah, so see how there's a 2 there? So
Yeah.
you'll know there's comments there, but I won't know that, you know, because I'm not going to go through every single tab on every single student's log and see these numbers.
That makes sense. Like these?
Yes, so see how I tagged you?
Yes, okay.
Yep, and then once you do it, you hit a check mark, she's cleared it, she's done it.
Okay.
And now she has the 2 on her practice log is done.
Okay. I do a lot of yoga, guys.
She does, and she has a very strong asana practice, which she's really embodying. So she's going to be a very, very strong teacher.
I have one question on that.
Yes.
Do we need to comment each time that we log our practice?
No, you just share the log once a week by right-clicking and sharing.
Okay.
Or you click the share button. On a phone, you hit the 3 dots and then hit share. Now, when you do share, you do have to tag the person you're sharing it with, and then you have to check the box that says notify people, because if you just share it, again, it's just randomly out there in cyberspace and we don't know you shared it, and I can't mark it as check, done, completed on your grading unless I've seen it come through in my email.
Okay. So we only need to tag you on our comments if it's something specifically we wanted you to see or
Yes.
say. Okay.
Yeah, and when you send me your assignments, I'm going to read the whole Google Doc. So I'll comment back and forth on that particular assignment. And that's a really good question there too, because if you're submitting an assignment and it's a picture from your phone, I can't comment on that. If you're submitting an assignment and it's a Word document, I can't comment on that either. So you do have to submit it on Google Docs. Now, if you type it up on Word, upload it to Drive, you automatically will be able to convert it. If you click the open in Google Docs, it'll automatically convert to Google Docs. Then share it with me. And that way we can have that conversation back and forth about your stuff. So it's super important that it's done that way. And if you're having any trouble doing that, one of the other alumni students or my admin assistant, the lovely Mia, will be happy to help you. She has been completely, amazingly instrumental on making this log functional, user-friendly, and beautiful. So I just want to give my biggest aloha to Mia for making this part of our program happen. Woo, go Mia! Yes, we love her. Yes, Tamara.
I have a question. Could I, or have you and Debbie talked about her company being this an approved yoga instructor? So
they would have to graduate my 300-hour program.
Oh, okay, okay. And
So
I know
they're not
looking
approved
into doing
until
that.
they've actually gone through our program.
Okay.
Tatiana was grandfathered into my program because Tatiana is a 1,000-hour teacher, and our teaching styles are very similar. Plus, she and I have worked together for many, many hours.
Okay.
And so we are completely in alignment.
Great.
But like, for instance, I have a sister studio up in Oregon. And if any of my Oregon girls are going to practice, they can go practice with Wellness Wave because she's an approved source. But until they have went through and worked with me and we are completely on the same base with teaching the same material and having the same intention, I cannot approve the source.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
question. You're welcome. So I'm going to just finish with the last few minutes of sharing the screen and going over those last two tabs. And any other questions on the practice log? Okay, so once you see the comment, then you're going to click it and you're going to click resolve. And then your little number on this tab goes away. And make sure you reply though before you resolve it, because if you don't, I won't know that you did anything. So like if I said, hey, you know, I see that you're doing such and such, but I would like you to add this and this, and you just resolve it, I don't know that you did it. So make sure you reply to me first. Okay, and then the next tab is your daily sadhana. I've had some confusion on what sadhana means. So I have written this document right here, and I will open this document. Well, you can click this URL. I'm trying to grab it, but it's not letting me grab it while I'm screen sharing. So you open this doc, it tells exactly what a sadhana is. I'm going to tell you what a sadhana is not. A sadhana is not asana practice. It's not your mat time. This is your quiet time. This is your time for you to spend connecting with something greater than yourself. However that looks for you is perfect. I am not going to teach you religion. I am going to teach you how to tap into something bigger than you. And if you learn nothing else in this whole entire program, then how to have a deeply grounded, seated, personal daily practice, then I feel 100% successful. And that is my goal. So with that said, you're going to log here. Now, like I said, you can transfer this from a paper log, and sadhana or dinacharya is going to be marked with a 1 or a 2. What's the difference? Sadhana is utilizing yogic practices. This is not just putting essential oils on and taking a salt bath, okay? This is a practice that has been practiced for thousands of years that you're trying out. So yes, your salt bath and your essential oils can be part of that practice, but a sadhana is something that you set your intention on, and you are doing it for the purpose of something greater, tapping into something greater. Now, can an essential oil practice or a salt bath be a sadhana? Absolutely. But what I'm looking for is something that is going to make you grow. And so meditation, mala beads, mantra, chanting, burning offerings like incense or puja, those kind of things I'm looking for. And you're going to be writing those on these lines as you practice them. If you're practicing dinacharya, this is part of your Ayurvedic practices or your kriya, your cleansing action practices that you've incorporated. So that's in addition to your sadhana. So if you're doing only neti pot, and I've seen you do neti pot for 20 days in a row, I'm gonna be like, hey, you're getting a little stagnant in your sadhana practice. Let's step it up. Can you add in, well, how about trying a mantra? You know, and on my YouTube channel, I have some shared playlists for you to get started on there, for you to like kind of get some ideas. So you can jump on the YouTube and look at the shared playlists and get some ideas there. And also we recommend getting the book, which is the journal. And the journal helps you, I think it's on your required reading, but I'll share it with you. And it's called I Am the Divine Within. And it helps you to have some ideas on where to start that grounded practice. You can utilize your Bible. You can utilize the Course in Miracles. You can utilize any spiritual text here in addition to that, and just marking down here the time. You don't have to share with me your really, really personal stuff. If you want to, I am very open to that, but this will not be shared with anybody else. Does anybody have any questions on that? It's no? Okay.
I was gifted these malas, so I'm ready.
Oh, good. Awesome. Okay, and then the last tab is your Seva. Seva is community service, or what we call karma yoga. And even if you never desire to teach outside of completion of your training, we do want you to have 8 classes under your belt. First of all, that helps you get over the fear of doing your class. So you don't have to do these classes until you actually are through with module 3, and I want you to have 8 of them completed by the time you graduate. You can teach just to your mom. You can teach just to your neighbor. You can teach to a group of kids at an elementary. You can teach to teachers after school. However that looks for you, that's your giving back to the community. And you're going to mark those on here. I do require that you utilize the intuitive vinyasa Yoga for Love signature mini vinyasas and sequences to create your class. And back on your practice log, as you're creating your classes, you're going to mark down this time as part of your practice hours when you're at home working with your manual and developing your classes. So this is hours that are counted towards your training. And then as your hours are logged, they're going to total up here. And each time that you move into a next module, it's going to give you the subtotal and then the total of all of your hours. So you're going to know where you're at. And at the very top of your module tab, it's going to show your grades. And so to move from module 1 to module 1 to 2, you're going to have between 12 and 20 hours of mat time practice. That does not include doing your homework or your daily quiet time, but this is your mat time. And this is not teaching. This is practicing your own personal practice. And so if you don't have 12 hours yet, I'm going to say, hey, why don't you spend some more hours on the mat, and then we'll move you into module 2. I feel like your practice is a little weak right now. Let's embody a little bit more of the vinyasas and some more practices, and then we'll move you up. If you're at 20 hours, you'll be getting an A. 12 hours would be a D. Those are all self-paced. That is not going to make you or break you. That is just so you know that if you're really excelling and doing as much as you can, or you can still pass with 12 hours. I'm not saying that's going to be subpar, but you know what's right for you, and that's the scale that we use. So any questions as we wrap up, or any final thoughts? Desiree, did you have anything to add?
I just maybe a little bit of clarification. It did answer a lot of my questions. Some of my other questions are a little bit more into module 1 specifically. But one of the questions was, did we have to do this in order? As I went through the getting started and began module 1, it has the audio lessons. And I kept asking myself, okay, do I have to complete all 5 of these lessons before I can move forward on the Yoga for Love website?
Oh,
and
okay.
So I think that clarified my question. I can go ahead and complete that to move forward, but I will have to go back to complete the lessons.
Yeah, and you can skip it and move forward and then go back to it. You can click through all the way till that hard stop. So you can click all the way through and then click all the way back. But once you get to that hard stop where it says your log is going to need to be graded, or your lessons are going to need to be graded, you can't move into module 1 until I actually grade it and make sure you've done all of them.
That's my second question. How do we know when and where we've been graded?
You'll receive an email, and also you'll be able to click through. Catherine?
As far as when you get into module 1, I found it just the easiest. I'm not saying like I listened to the audio recordings, her lessons, like probably 2 to 3 times, but I would sit there and listen to her audio of the classroom time, all in completion. I would spend the time, take probably like 2 days if you have like a whole night, I don't know, whatever you guys feel like doing, but I would listen to the audio and then do the practices as she went. And then I would go back. Like when I got into module 3, it was a lot of asana So I wanted to make sure I got everything I wanted out of it. So I took notes, and then if I needed more clarification, I would just re-listen to the whole module again. But I highly recommend listening to it all at once and then going back and listening to it again. Just kind of like, it helps sink in. It's like reading the sutras 5,000 times.
I really appreciate that feedback because the audio was all recorded in a row. So they are not directly correlated with the lessons. The assignments are completely separate from the audio lessons. And that's a really good point. So you can start working on your syllabus and on your assignments and skip all the way through until you can get to that syllabus, but go back and listen to all the audio in a row because that was one weekend training that we recorded. So it flows. But it sometimes may not directly correlate with your manual either because we're like on version 10.0, and that was like version 1.0, so you're going to notice some of the wordings different and stuff like that. And I do intend, as my book comes out, to go ahead and just record straight from the book. But for the time being, it's a great way to get some live Q&A and interaction.
Sorry. When you listen to the modules and then you go back to the syllabus too, you'll see like some of the homework assignments. You're like, oh, okay, so it will make more sense as you go along as the modules progress. Like module 2.
And this is intuitive. It's called Intuitive Vinyasa, and if you look on the website under the About page on how that Intuitive Vinyasa was created, it's also a page in your manual. But the reason it was created that way is because as we were recording and as we were creating this, Spirit gave us those assignments. Like literally they were downloaded as we were going through it. That's how I've recorded all these trainings. Like I will teach the class and I'm like, wow, that was freaking kick ass. I'm going to write that down. Like where did that come from? That was not from me. And I'm writing it down and then I'm recording it and then I'm putting it in your manual. So we're teaching that way. And I want you to also embody that practice that way too. So as you're practicing, you're going to be able to take that little 7 segment of vinyasas where you have 7 postures together and you can plug that little piece into any class that you're teaching because it's coming from something authentic within you. Any other questions, Desiree, as we wrap up?
No, ma'am. I think that covered all my Q&A.
Okay.
So.
Does anybody else have any questions or feedback? No? Okay. Well, awesome. I think that is a wrap. And if you want to just, everyone unmute and we'll just say bye and we'll wrap up our recording and we will see you next on our next class.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Nice meeting y'all.